Hey guys, since you guys love that farmhouse style kitchen scale that I recently created on my channel, I decided to try my hand and created another type of farmhouse style scale for my home. And this time I made a balancing scale. But just like with my other scale, I could not make just one. So I have not only one, but two options for you guys to recreate.
All those days trying to find a place where you only can just be alone, All those nights lying by your side, like you survived, feeling it shine under your spotlight.
Welcome to Ria's World of Ideas. If you are new to my channel, I am Ria, and on my channel I love sharing all my ideas that I find helpful in my life and home, and hopefully you'll find them helpful in your life and home as well. So if you're not a subscriber already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave this video, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're always notified on all the new videos that I put out. With all that being said, let's just talk about today's video, which is a DIY on these balancing scales that I have behind me right now. Now I want to say that I'm looking at the viewfinder and they kind of look like they're crooked, but they're not. It's just for some reason my tripod is just not holding my camera as it should, and so it makes these look like they're lopsided, but really, trust me, they are straight. But I wanted to share with you guys a couple things before I jump into the DIY and how I created not only just one but two different options of these farmhouse style balancing scales. Now originally I wanted to, well, basically these are made out of, the structure of this is the plunger from Dollar Tree, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually use the whole part of the plunger to create this. So originally I had set all this up and made it and had it ready for you guys, and then once I put the little balancing plates on them, they started to tip because the part of the plunger that is rubber, even though when I set the whole thing up and the stick was sticking up straight, the minute you put these little plates on them, it starts to move because this thing is rubber and it does not hold stuff very well. So if you ever want to recreate this and you want to try to keep this and use this part of it, because I really did want to use it because I like the shape how it looked, don't do it because the rubber does not hold things up well. And so originally I had the rubber glued onto like this this little wood plate that I found at Walmart, and then I had the thing sticking up, kind of like, it was just like that sticking up, and it looked really pretty. But again, like I said, when I put the plates on, it was lopsided and it didn't work. So trust me, if you try to recreate a scale on yourself and you want to not use what I'm using and try to use the whole plunger like I did, it's not going to work. So I wanted to just give you guys that full disclosure before we jump into the DIY, so in case you want to recreate it, you guys know that the rubber part of the plunger will not hold well. Also, I want to let you know that when you do this DIY, you're going to need a drill to create it the way I did, because I wanted to make this as sturdy as possible. I wanted to make it as much wood as possible, and a lot of these balancing scales that I've seen, people have just put the crossing plate on top and kind of screwed it that way, or they've glued it that way, which is fine if you want to do that, but I felt like I wanted mine to be a little bit more sturdier. So you're going to need a drill to do it the way I did it, because I drilled a hole right through here to make this wood pole stick through. But again, if you don't want to do that, you can also glue it, or if you're kind of going to go for like a more kind of like neutral farmhouse style and you want to use twine, you can intertwine the little rope that Dollar Tree sells in between that. That will be like a cute little decor piece as well. So it's any way you want to do it, but I just wanted to give you a full disclosure beforehand so that you guys know what you're up for before you do these DIYs. But I'm super excited to share with you guys how I made these. I love the way that they came out. You guys love the other farmhouse scale. So let me not talk anymore. Let me just jump into the DIY so I can share with you guys how I made not just one, but two farmhouse style balancing scales. So just like I told you guys in the beginning, the base for this balancing scale is going to be the plungers that you can find at Dollar Tree. Now for the piece that goes across, there's a couple options you can do. You can get this little cat toy at Dollar Tree and use it as the piece that goes across. The only thing about this that I didn't like is that it's not as sturdy as I would like it to be, because it could be easily bent. It's not one of those sturdy type of wood pieces, so it can easily get bent. But if you can't find any wood pieces, this would be an option. What I'm going to use is these wood pieces that I found at Walmart. I took a picture because I wanted to share with you guys how there are so many different wood pieces at Walmart that you can get for under $1. So definitely check it out, and the next time you want to do a Dollar Tree DIY, because you can definitely stay in the dollar range. So deciding on what wood dowel to use is basically up to preference. I'm going to be using this larger one that I found for 62 cents, and I'm able to make both my scales with this one piece. But you can also choose this bag that has all these different dowel sizes that come for $1, and you get all the different sizes that come in it. I just found that those were a little bit too short for my liking, so when I would lay them over the wood on the plunger, it just was a little bit too short for what I wanted. But some people might like it. You guys might like it shorter when you do your scale, so either or. But I'm definitely going to be using this pack of dowels for upcoming DIY, so stay tuned for that. I think it's a great deal to get this bag because you get so many different sizes for $1, and you'll never see that at Dollar Tree. So I need to figure out the size that I need to make the hole so the dowel can fit through the wood of the plunger. So I'm using this drill bit from my drill to drill a hole like 2 inches down into the actual plunger wood. Now this is the part where I told you guys that you're going to need a drill, and it's up to preference if you guys would like to just glue it on top or kind of like just tie your dowel on top, but I wanted this to be sturdy, so I'm measuring 2 inches down right now, and then at that point I will use my drill to drill a hole straight through the wood of the plunger so that I can fit the dowel inside it perfectly. Now you want to make the hole a little bit bigger just in case it doesn't fit. Sometimes if it's too snug, you won't be able to fit the dowel all the way through. So you kind of want to get a drill bit that's slightly bigger than the actual dowel so that it'll fit through. And don't worry if you have it too big. You can always add hot glue to make up for the hole, to make up for the space in the hole. And I'm not gonna lie, this does take a while. So make sure that when you're doing your drill that it is on full power, that you have charged it all day or all night so that you have it on full blast so that you're able to drill through this piece of wood, because it is a thick piece of wood and it will take time, but I'm telling you guys, I love it because it makes it more sturdier. And this is how it looks once I've made a hole all the way through the wood. Now I'm going to measure that dowel so that I can actually get like the middle measurement of it, so that way I can make 2 perfect size pieces of it. So I'm just taking my measuring tape, my fabric measuring tape, to find the middle part of it, marking it before I cut it. Now because I don't have a saw, I'm just going to use my drill and a smaller drill bit so I can drill a hole right there in that middle point so that I can easily snap the dowel pieces apart. Once I was done with all that, now it was time to see if the dowel would slip through the hole, and it did. Now once you're drilling, sometimes it moves and you might not make a hole all the way straight through. This wood, if that happens, you can easily bend it, like kind of bend it and play with it, because it is kind of like soft wood, so you're able to adjust it if you need to like push down on one side more than the other, which I had to do with this first one. And then after I did it for a little bit, it was fine and it looked straight to me. So you're able to play with it for a little bit. Now I wanted to add something to the end, so I decided to add these wood caps that I found at Walmart as well for $1.77, and you get 4 like small ones and then 4 large ones. I think they're such a great price for so many different DIYs that you can do with them, and so I love them. So for $1.77 to get 8 of these, and you get 4 one size and 4 the other, is amazing. So I'm gonna put 1 on each side and then 1 on the top as well. To glue these caps on, you can use the E6000 glue or that adhesive glue that I use from Dollar Tree if you want, but I'm just going to use the wood glue because this is all unfinished wood, so the wood glue is going to work perfectly for it, and I kind of like to save my adhesive glue for like my metal and mirror projects. So I'm just going to glue the 2 end caps on the side, and I'm going to save the top end cap for later, for once I finish the structure of this scale. Now if you make your drill hole too big, like I did with my second one, and your dowel kind of wobbles like this, there's 2 things you can do. You can either leave it as is and have kind of an actual balancing scale, or you could just take some hot glue like I did and fill in those pieces and make sure that you pull the dowel down to the position that you want first, and then basically fill in the holes with hot glue, and then you have it perfectly straight. I glued on the top dowel with hot glue because I wanted it to glue down faster, so that's why I added the hot glue instead of the wood glue for the top piece. And as you guys can see, this was my original structure, the original way I was going to create this scale, and I love the style of it, but again, as soon as I put those plates on, they just didn't balance right. So what I did instead was I took those candlestick holders that you can get at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that instead, and I'm going to glue that onto a plastic plate that I bought a pack of them for. I'm also using the plates for the white version of this, you'll see these exact same plates. I'm gonna paint them white and then use them for the white version of this scale. Now to glue all this together, I'm gonna use that adhesive glue that I always use, that I tell you guys is just as good as E6000. And so I'm going to use that to glue all these pieces together because I want them to stick, like I want this to hold well. And so I'm going to put some glue at the bottom, and then make sure that when you are gluing this into the candlestick holder, that first you try to fit the actual piece of wood in the candle holder to make sure that the wood fits inside it, because some of these candle holders come in different sizes and the inside is not always the same. So make sure it does fit, and then make sure that when you're gluing it, that you're gluing it straight up and it's perfectly aligned the way you want it before you add the rest of your glue. So as you're gluing it in, make sure that you line it up to make it perfectly straight, and then fill in any holes that are left with inside the candlestick holder. Also on this part, you want to make sure that you, when you're using the glue, that you actually do it kind of nicely, because when you go to paint and spray paint this, especially with the white paint, it shows up every nook and cranny. So if you did a sloppy, poor job on your gluing, it's going to show up when it paints, especially if you use hot glue. Now for this one, it fit perfectly inside this candlestick holder, so I didn't have to use hot glue. But for my second one, my white one, the wood did not fit perfectly in it, so I had to use hot glue so that it would stick right away. And I had to make sure that I did it nicely, because when I spray painted it white, you can see all the mess up. So just make sure that you do it nicely when you glue down. And I don't know why I glued the wood piece to the candlestick holder and then tried to glue this candlestick holder to the plate. I should have glued the candlestick holder to the plate first and then glued the wood piece inside the candle holder, because now, as you see, I'm trying to glue it and I'm having trouble because I should have did it the other way. So don't do what I did. When you guys go to do it, make sure that you glue down your candlestick first to the plate and then glue down the wood piece inside the candlestick holder. For the plates for my black scale, I'm going to be using these silver kind of bowls that you can find in the wedding section at Dollar Tree. I love the look of this silver and black, how it goes, especially how it looked with my last farmhouse scale that I made. And so I'm going to take my drill again with that same skinny drill bit, and I'm going to drill a hole in each of the 4 corners. Now this will not crack it if you just tilt it the way I'm doing it and you have that small drill bit and you drill it through. It will do it fine and it won't crack it at all. And here's how the 4 holes will look when you are done drilling them. For the white scale, I'm going to be using these plastic plates for the plates for them. And this pack I was able to use to help make the stands for both of the scales, but also the plates for the white scale. So for this plate, I'm not going to do 4 holes like I did with the other one. I'm only going to do 3 holes because I feel like the 3 holes will look better on a circle. And I'm just using a triangle template to help me make my dots, basically where my circles, my holes will be aligned. I will also be using my drill to drill the holes into these plates as well. Now I will say that these plates are a little bit thinner than the silver plates, so you have to hold them a certain way. You can't put any pressure on them as you're drilling them, because if you do, they will crack. So I did have one section where it kind of cracked a little bit, but that's okay, because all I did was I used my adhesive glue to kind of add a little bit of glue to it to fix it. Another way you can make the holes in these plastic plates is if you have a high temperature glue gun, you can actually put it against the hole and it will actually melt the plastic and make a hole for it. I have a low temp glue gun, so mine will make the hole, but it won't make it go all the way through. So the high one works better. So these are how the plates came out once I painted them white, and I wanted to add like a little black detail to them, kind of like I did with my last farmhouse style scale where I had one that was black and silver and the other one was black and white. I wanted to add that same detail to this scale, so I'm just adding a little black, some black paint around the rim of these plates as well. And I will add some more details to the scale itself, but not too much, because I feel like sometimes less is more. To create the tops of the chains for the scale, I'm going to be using these binder rings that you can get at Dollar Tree, and they come in different sizes. And I'm going to be using the 2 smaller sizes, like the small and the medium size, but I wanted to share with you guys that Dollar Tree has all 3 sizes, just in case you want to use them for other DIYs. Here's how the binder rings look after I've painted them, and I've painted one set black and one set white. And as you can see, I have the 2 different sizes of binder rings here. And what I'm going to do is the bigger one is going to be the one that's going to loop onto the actual scale itself, and then the little one is going to be the one that's connected to the chains. To create the rest of the actual chain itself, I'm just going to connect some paper clips to create my own chain. I know a lot of people have been using those planter chains, but those went so fast at Dollar Tree and I wasn't able to find them. So I came up with this idea on creating my own chains with paper clips, and I think this was a great idea to share with you guys, because if you can't find those planter chains like I couldn't, you can at least create your own. So I decided this 7 paper clips was a good length for each chain, and I'm painting 1 white and 1 black for each scale. Once the paper clip chains are dry after painting, I take one end of the chain and open up a paper clip so that I can loop it through the holes that I created on the plates, and then I make sure to close that paper clip up just to make sure that the chains don't fall outside the hole. Once I've connected all the chains to the plate, I then gather them all up and loop them onto the binder rings. Once I put the plates on the scale, I realized I do want to add a little bit more black detail to the actual scale itself. So I'm just going in and I'm taking a really thin paintbrush and I'm just painting the base of this scale. You can do more if you want to do that white enamel look. You can add a lot more, which I did at the beginning, and then I kind of went back and touched over with white paint because I didn't like how it was. So what I did was I ended up just having just a little bit on the ends of the end cap and on the bottom, and then when you add the actual plates itself, it just has a little touch of black everywhere on this white scale. I didn't want to go too overboard because I did, and it just didn't look right to me. But you guys can do as much or as little as you would like, but I think this looks fine just having the little, you know, black pieces on the ends and a little touch of black, but not so much because I love the look of the white. But this is how this scale ended up looking, and I just love how it turns out. And again, don't worry if this looks like lopsided on camera. I'm telling you guys, my tripod is just not working right, so everything on this video looks like it's lopsided or not straight, but it's because of my tripod. Now, just like with my last black and white scale, I decided to decorate this scale with the lemons and a touch of greenery as well, because I just feel like that pop of yellow and green goes great with white and black, and I can't wait to decorate this scale for the fall because those pumpkins that I just shared with you guys in my last Dollar Tree haul are gonna go so nicely on this scale, and I can't wait to decorate this scale, actually both scales, for the fall. The black and silver scale I decorated the same way I decorated the other black and silver scale with the red apples, but this time I added a touch of greenery to this one because I feel like with these balancing scales, I felt like the apples just needed some greenery in them. Again, I can't wait to decorate this one for fall as well. And this one, I didn't have to do too much details to it, so that's why you didn't see me kind of set this one up, because really I didn't have to paint the paper clips because the silver paper clips looked good with the silver bowl, so I didn't paint the paper clips. And then I didn't have to add no detail because I love the black of the spray paint of the base, and then I love the silver bowl. So this one was like the one that I didn't have to do too much to, so that's why I kind of didn't show you step by step everything I did, but it was kind of the same process as the black and white one. So that is how I created not just one, but 2 options of a farmhouse style balancing scale. Now guys, this DIY was that one DIY that gave me so much trouble. I had so many different plans at the beginning for it. They got changed up so many times during the process. And then again, like I told you guys, once I had finished and completed it and thought I liked it, I put the balancing scales on it and it didn't work, and I had to take everything apart and reconstruct it again. So this DIY, I could have had this up for you guys last week, but I had to change it so many times that it took the longest ever. This was like the longest DIY ever for me. So my question for you guys today is, what is that DIY project that you did that you had kind of like a plan in your mind, and then all of a sudden it didn't go the way that you wanted to and it took longer than you thought? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Hey guys, don't forget to click on the picture in the middle of the screen so you can subscribe to my channel and get notifications on all the new videos that I put out, and check out these other 2 videos that I have posted on my channel on either side of my picture. Have a great day.